Good evening, and I welcome you to your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. My name is Emmanuel Jr., the Chief Crusader Against Corruption here in Ghana. As always, you just need to realize that this is the only platform that brings together conversations that is intended to transform the future of this country. If not for our sake, as I keep saying, at least for the sake of our next generation, our children, and even those who are yet to be born. And that is why it is always a privilege when we get opportunity every Monday at 8 p.m. to discuss topical issues that it has the potential of either breaking or making this country. You can always get interactive with us as we've always been doing. And fortunately, this evening, a time is going to be given for you, the viewer, to also phone in to share your views and your comments. And as you know, on the social media platform that we have as exhibited on the screen, you can share your comments, your questions, your contributions, and at the right time, it will be read for you. Ghana stands at a crossroad. A country that was once celebrated as Africa's fastest growing economy. Unfortunately, the country now faces a grim paradox. It has an impressive growth statistics on paper, and we are always touting and we are always so happy about it. And yet, when it comes to the reality, it is so clear that there is deepening poverty and social despair among citizens of this country. According to the Multidimensional Poverty Index, 25.2% of Ghanaians live below the poverty line, while another 20.1% are at risk of falling into the poverty bracket. A UN Development Program further reports that most Ghanaians living in extreme poverty are in rural areas, surviving on less than $1.90 a day. And when you equate it into Ghana cedis, it is just around 20 Ghana cedis. The reality is that we have a reasonable and a sizable number of Ghanaians who survive on just around 20 Ghana cedis a day. This, among other figures, expose a growing disconnect between economic growth and the well-being of citizens. In the midst of all this, and at the heart of this crisis, lies a deeper and more dangerous problem. A problem that we are going to have a critical look at. And I'm making reference to youth unemployment. Ghana's youth unemployment is a pressing issue, with nearly 39% of young people in this country who are unemployed. A huge generation that have been trapped between education and opportunity. Clearly, we have what we call a ticking time bomb that threatens Ghana's stability. The Statistical Service emphasizes that youth unemployment remains a significant challenge, with 7 in every 10 unemployed persons being young people. So when you assemble 10 Ghanaians who are unemployed, 7 out of the 10 falls within the bracket of the youth. Such a significant number. With no clear path to employment, it is clear that we have moved from economic improvisation into a national security and environmental crisis. And that is why your program or your platform, Politics and Beyond, do recognize that government's effort to address poverty and joblessness seems to be ongoing. However, our position is that ad hoc initiatives and campaign-driven policies will not be the way forward. And it will not give us the solution that we are looking for. Every cedi that is lost to corruption is a stolen job opportunity, is a blocked scholarship, or an unfunded training program. And that is why we believe strongly that Ghana urgently needs a coherent national employment strategy that aligns education, skills development, and industrial growth. Investment in technical and vocational training, entrepreneurship support, and value-added manufacturing is critical if this country called Ghana is to absorb its restless youth population. Youth unemployment clearly is a ticking time bomb for Ghana's national stability. And with nearly 40% of our youth being jobless, the consequences are far-reaching. It creates economic instability, and what is worse is the fact that it also creates social unrest, leading to security threats. For so many times and so many years on, I have said consistently that the youth unemployment situation we have in this country constitutes a clear national security threat. And that is why it is time for us as a country to discuss this issue dispassionately, devoid of partisanship. Let us go beyond the sloganeering. Let us go beyond the ad hoc measures that we do put in place. And let us look at it critically. Because we are all sitting on a time bomb as a country. The situation is dire. Many young Ghanaians are facing challenges in accessing decent employment. And this is leading to frustration. This is leading to disillusion. This is leading to most of the youth engaging in things that otherwise they wouldn't have loved to do. Not to talk of those who are being forced to take up certain job opportunities just because they just want to make ends meet. Let's tackle this challenge head on and secure Ghana's future. And that is the focus of this evening's conversation. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll dive right into the conversation. But even before we do that, the question that we are posing this evening is that how do we tackle youth unemployment in this country? I need practical solutions. Share your views, share your comments. Even if you have a question, share them through the WhatsApp line that will be exhibited on the screen and on our social media platforms that we have also on the screen. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If I cry na menyisika, edia ye mefui.
Ehin fa na menya bosia, edia tre medjuma yimu.
Kai kra mabre mi yebusia ato taxi fufu. Suhum Rural Bank.
Suhum Rural Bank.
Yemamu akwa baba Suhum Rural Bank. Ye won hyehyɛ ahodo bi te sɛ dwadefo abosia, ekoko bosia, susu account, and it so wɔ hɔ savings account, me bada chain savings account, and the akeka ho. Suhum Rural Bank was 034229186. Na won so wetumi aka sɛ
Suhum Rural Bank ama ene mayeka una.
Suhum Rural Bank enti me pa minie.
Suhum Rural Bank, growing our heritage.
Every human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. Natural mineral water. Simply natural For bulk purchase, call 0596-273-546 or 0596-273-547. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. You are still with your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. And I'm your host, Emmanuel Jr. As I indicated before we went on break, we are sitting on a time bomb as a country. And this is not the first time I'm saying this. Till something is done radically, I don't think this will be the last time I'll be saying this. We are sitting on a time bomb. Youth unemployment is indeed a national security threat. And it is important that we look at it holistically and discuss it. I'm in black this evening because I am mourning. And it saddens me that last week, I think it was on Thursday or so, or Wednesday, when we had a very terrible incident. It took place when the youth of this country decided that they were going to look for jobs. They were going to be employed. They want opportunity. They don't want to engage in illegal activities. So they want to be employed, gainfully employed, with all their qualifications, their enthusiasms, and all that. Unfortunately, that was just their crime. Some of them ended up meeting their untimely death. What a shame. What a shame. It broke me, it saddened my heart when just a day after Ghana decided to read the budget and you could see some of our members of parliament on the floor of parliament jubilating. Business as usual when we had this national crisis. I was expecting that would have even postponed the reading of the budget, so to mourn and to make sure that the right structures were put in place. These are the beautiful ladies, future leaders that we had. These are individuals who, I believe, some were the only hopes for their family members or for their parents. Unfortunately, they met their untimely death just because they wanted to be employed in this country. And that is why I am mourning. And I believe all of you are also or should join me whilst we mourn and find a solution to this canker, this issue of youth unemployment in this country. I want to use this opportunity to share my deepest of condolence on behalf of the platform Politics and Beyond to the families, and to also say a big shame to the Ghana Armed Forces for failing to put in the right structures. This morning I have heard from them, or I read a document purported to be coming from them, that they have decided to resume the recruitment process. By this time they have created, I think 10 or 5 centers, 5 screening centers. So they've created 5 screening centers, and each of the screening centers is going to have 2 centers. So in all, they are having 10 screening centers. And so they are going to resume. Did we have to wait for this to happen before we decide to put this commonsensical structure in place? Knowing very well the number of individuals that you have invited and you are expecting. Knowing very, very, very well that stampede is likely to occur. Why do you even decide to choose Elwak Stadium? Why didn't you go and have an open space? What happened to the National Stadium? What happened to the Independence Square? What happened to any other place? Aside that, why is it that you couldn't, common sense, couldn't tell you that you need to have badges when it comes to the screening process? That you need to have different centers when it comes to the screening process? Do we need to sacrifice 6 or whatever innocent? I'm saying whatever because reports coming in, others are saying 6, others are saying it is more than 6. But let's even assume it is 6. Even if it is 1, This is avoidable for Christ's sake. What crime did they commit? And so the picture shows you what is happening, or what happened last week, Wednesday. And what saddens my heart is when I listen to the parents of some of them. And I'm sure very soon we'll be listening to one or two of the parents and what they said. This is the mother of one of the deceased. We can listen to her.
Uncle. Your friend uncle. A woman a betom. And a boy be fire. Or beside me so free. And our bar a ho. Miss Africa swa. Kaswa no free. And no see oh. Minjinasu. Mijinaswa wankasa. Wankasada. And I me before no to. Miss Afren wamfa. Mi friend a wamfa. Echrena. Miss Afrena. And ofa. Ofa and o say. Oh ya ubanu or yaru or da 37. Or da 37. Missy. Ediana see ya. Or see oh me too or background no say see yati anisu. Oi yati anisu. And I missy ye. Yo me ba says ya. You have me friend for uncle. Me friend my friend in Brazil, uncle just say. Oba me banumua mochana uncle. Na me banita mochi. Ah! What the Mahuni ni amanu munyina. Mahu mi hunu. Asa
she's going to army enlistment and camp. She went and she didn't come back again. That's the whole thing.
So how did the news break to you? How did they transfer the news to you?
Oh, we sent our elders to the same place, and they came and tell me the way the thing happened.
How is she? How old is she?
She's 23. 22. 8 months.
22 years.
8 months. Yeah.
Is she working?
She's working at bank.
Which bank?
CGB Bank.
CGB Bank.
I don't really know what words to use. I don't know what to say. When we talk of accidents, we all know that sometimes accidents are things that happens, and to a very large extent, we have no control over them. This cannot be an accident. This cannot be an accident because the military is supposed to be the highest body when it comes to intelligence. When it comes to regimentalism, when it comes to how to put structures in place, it is the military. And that is why some of us have even advocated for a very long time. And I remember very well the first time I made this advocacy was when we had His Excellency John Kufuor being the president. As far back, I have made that advocacy, and I believe a lot of people have done same, that our young ones who are going into national service should be given the opportunity to pass through the military, at least have some military training. Because we believe in their intelligence, we believe in their structure, we believe in their discipline, we believe that they know how to put systems in place. Unfortunately, just like we do have, and I have said so many times that our posture has been the reactive approach when it comes to fighting corruption. It looks like it's not just corruption, but when it comes to almost everything in this country, we are just very comfortable to have a reactive approach. And this is a typical example. Today, we are being told that structures are being put in place to have what? 5, 10 different screening centers. Why couldn't we have done this? to save these parents, this agony, to protect our young ones who are supposed to be our future leaders. 6 souls, innocent souls, are gone. What really hurts me also had to do with, I don't know whether she's the PRO or whoever, but she was the one speaking on behalf of the military at the 37 military hospital. And I also felt so bad. Even her posture, I don't know her name, but she's a military woman. Her posture wasn't the best. And if indeed the military want to do a reform, they should also choose people who have what it takes when it comes to communicating or communication as far as the public is concerned. The lady or the woman who communicated on that day really disappointed not just me, but a lot of people. We are going back, and as I said, we are mourning. And so when you see me in black, that is the symbolism, what it means. We are mourning our innocent young ones, youth. We've talked about the fact that youth unemployment is a national security threat. We've talked about the fact that youth unemployment is more of a ticking bomb that all of us are sitting on. And when it decides to explode, it will explode so well. I've heard people talking about, well, the youth who went there, they should have been organized and all that. But those who make those arguments do not really appreciate the state and where we find ourselves. We find ourselves at a stage where the youth are so discouraged that they can do anything just to get into a decent employment. And that is what we saw. People jumping, people deciding to jump and then step on others just because they are so frustrated and they feel like this is their last opportunity. A country that creates an impression that if you don't get it this time, you are doomed. That country really doesn't have a future. And a country that also creates the impression that it is only in the public sector that you have a future. That country is also doomed and doesn't have a future. Clearly speaking, if we are talking about employment, the best avenue has to do with the private sector. And so if we are not able to strengthen the private sector and to give hope, when you go to other countries like the UK, like the US, especially the UK, literally you are begged to come and join the security services. But it is not so in this country, just the opposite. And yet we still have leaders. We have leaders who go to parliament, leaders who just go and jump and be merrymaking, clap, and sing funny songs, hold placards and all that, just because a budget has been read. Not because what is in the budget has been implemented, but the fact that a budget has just been read means people should jubilate. When a day, less than 24 hours prior to that day, we had this innocent youth losing their lives. Let's look at some of the causes of youth unemployment, particularly in this country. The first one has to do with mismatch between education and labor market needs. The first one, as I indicated, has to do with mismatch between education and the labor market needs. Many graduates lack technical and practical skills that are required for employment or required by the employees. That is one key causes. The second one is that we have limited access to capital for entrepreneurship. So there are a number of the youth who also have brilliant ideas. They want to go into their own business. Unfortunately, they are not able to access capital to start. So young entrepreneurs struggle to access funding. And that is also one thing that contributes to youth unemployment in this country. We have what we call the over-reliance on the public sector. And the video we saw is an example of it. Many young people prefer public sector jobs, and they do that because they believe that is where there is security. Because they believe that that is where they have some hope and where their future, to a very large extent, is secured. And this leads to intense competition, leading to loss of lives, as we have seen. We also have what we call the slow industrial growth and limited private sector absorption. There's no country that can take care of youth unemployment if that country does not create the environment, the enabling environment for private sector to grow. And so if you have a country where you read a budget, and next week, God willing, we'll be discussing the budget extensively. And we'll be finding out whether or not the budget is a budget that equips and encourages the private sector to grow. We'll look at it next week. But if it doesn't, then clearly those MPs that were jubilating, it is clear that they really don't even appreciate what we need as a country. The other one is inadequate vocational and technical training. So many young people lack the skills needed for in-demand jobs. That is also there. That, in summary, talks about what leads to youth unemployment. But for me, the most important one has to do with the mismatch between education and the labor market needs. Our educational system needs some overhauling. We need an educational system that is relevant and practical. And so we need to look at that very, very well. Let's look at some of the effects of youth unemployment. The first effect has to do with economic impact. Youth unemployment deprives the nation of innovation, productivity, and revenue generation. And that is true. Social impact. Unemployed youth are more vulnerable to crime, substance abuse, and mental health challenges. We are here discussing issues such as drug abuse. We are here discussing issues such as crime. We are here discussing issues such as galamsey and all that. Most of this, and I'm not saying all of it, but most of this is as a result of youth who originally had good intentions and wanted to secure some decent job. But unfortunately, the environment is not enabling enough. And as a result, they are forced to go into something that otherwise or ordinarily they wouldn't have ventured into. And the effect of it is that you and I, indeed the entire society, is the one that is hardest hit. So that is also the effect. The other one is security concerns. Disenfranchised youth may become susceptible to political manipulation, extremism, or social unrest. I hope you remember the Arab Spring that took place some time back, some years ago. It was just because of things like this. It was all because of things like this. And that is why I am telling you that we are sitting on a time bomb. The bomb is taken. And the earlier we look at youth unemployment holistically as a nation, the better for us. The earlier we look at it as a priority as a country, the better for us. I'm going to look at some of the solutions. But as I indicated, this is a platform this evening where I want us to engage. There are a number of messages that have come through, but I'm going to activate the phone lines. And the question I raised earlier on, and I'm still raising it, is how do we tackle youth unemployment in this country? I need your views. Together, let's see how we can, present a very practical solution or solutions. And if possible, we'll channel them to the right venues or avenue, hoping that the powers that be and the people that we have entrusted our lives into, for them to make decisions to better our future, they will listen and they will be able to make amends when it comes to policies, when it comes to decision making. And so the phone lines are going to be activated. The numbers will be on the screen and you can call in. This evening, I want us to have the opportunity to have a number of you calling as possible. So when you call, be very brief. And please, when you call, reduce the volume on your TV set. We are mourning. And so let us ensure that we have practical solutions that will at least help us and prevent this from happening again. And we'll also make sure that we'll have solutions that will, put in the structures that will reduce youth unemployment in this country. There are a number of messages that have come through, and I'll be reading them. But before I read them, let me take the first caller. Caller, you are welcome to Politics and Beyond. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, your name and where you are calling from.
This is Maxwell from Pandai, Northern Region.
Maxwell from Pandai. Oh, it's been a while since I visited Pandai. I hope everyone is fine there.
Yeah, everybody is doing well. Please.
Good. Maxwell, you can go ahead. But as I keep saying, when you have the opportunity to call in, feel free. You can speak any language that you are comfortable with. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'm comfortable speaking the English.
Please go ahead, Maxwell.
Okay. So to the question you just asked, I think the best solution to this issue should be that the politicians and the leaders, for that matter, they should not pretend as if everything is fine. There's nothing moving on as we speak. How can people from school finish their national service still at home and expect that they will be happy? You go to the parliament, you go to the house, and you are happy, laughing.
Right.
The people are suffering.
Yeah.
I'm a graduate from Tamil College of Education. We finished our national service February this year.
Right.
And up to now, they have never been engaged as to how we are going to be posted. We are the nation we are building for ourselves. We have children. They are working in big companies, receiving huge sums of money. Yeah. And the little we are going to be paid from, still nobody is ready to post us.
Right.
It's painful. So when I heard that these young ladies lost their lives, it could have been me, because I was also trying to divert to that, because I've wasted time on the college and five years, because 4 years in school, 1 year for our national service,
right,
and you are home doing nothing. I was even trying to gear into that, but this issue happened. We are just grieving. In fact, there is a lot of anger in us towards the government.
Am I losing you, Maxwell? Okay, I think I'm losing Maxwell. But yes, your point is well made. We need to stop the pretense, and that is very true. Maxwell, thank you very much for calling in. My technical men, please look at the our streaming. I'm getting feedback that the sound is off. Good evening and welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Yeah.
Your name and where you are calling from?
Hello.
Yes, your name and where you are calling from?
Yeah, my name is Innocent. I'm calling from Adenta Municipality.
Your name is?
Innocent.
Innocent. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. Hello.
Innocent, we can hear you. Go ahead.
To me, my view is that.
Yes.
Yes, my view is 24 hours economy is one of the solutions. But that's the first one. Second one is that, you see, politicians, they normally play with our intelligence all the time. If the solution is that if you have a chance to make a law at the parliament, or you can send this one to the parliament so that they make a law. If anybody like a MP want to pick a form, the requirement should be like that. You should have at least one or two companies or manufacturing companies before you qualify you to be picked the form. If you should be president, you should have 3 or more companies before you qualify. It will be the requirement. To me, it will reduce the unemployment.
Right. That's a brilliant
because
one.
You don't help anybody. You want somebody to help you.
You have not been able to employ anyone, but you want the state to employ you. I get you, Innocent. Thank you so much, Innocent. So that's also Innocent's position. The 24-hour economy, which, yes, all of us are looking forward to because we believe it will help us and it will help us, reduce youth unemployment in this country. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond. Caller, your name and where you are calling from. Hello?
Yeah, I'm the Boachim Casifitafo.
Who didn't be him?
Boachi. Could you watch it? Tafo.
Tafo for what you're saying?
Tafo for one.
Good. Yet you.
Good friends, you was anti making her. 12 of the night, and you need to push the you bear 20,000.
Bear
my organa, you finish my organa, you or more, and for can see a man crowns new way, my new way, and from can see you finish my I say, and the sweet of crowd and car, get it, you find it a member, but and then a man who can't know me more catching. Man, I'm from see
that's right.
My sis, if you pay a easy.
Yeah. Now, Boachi Kumasino, was there any incident? BBC or Honomo?
Yeah, Kumasino, just in paper, I said a give out a Kuma, I say, Uncle Bike. Ukuma ya sisi ya unyayo kovai.
Wow. Kuma.
Kumasino. Uju kumasina ipana dosun. Badaje omubi gate ni tum jase. Ina remuji. Empinency. Ase omubi gate ni tum.
Yeah.
Use ewa ko nuse okulisa. Abe ala de unse baking tea. Ase omubi gate ni na mi remuji na. Empinency wo hono. Ngese in peace group, my son can you should be whoop. Then you do the final cover 20,000 grand. Japan, my team was it didn't go a you park a take it some night. Avalanche, the shadow of my team to the very usual in panel.
Yeah,
that's
it. Watching. Medasepa Nyamishrao. So yeah, that is what Boachi also said. He gave a witness. Apparently, he was part of those who went to the Kumasi for the screening. So he was there. Do I have a call on the line? Hello. Okay, you lose no. Okay, sorry about that. You can call back. So Boachi was also talking about the Kumasi one. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond. Your name and where you are calling from?
Clement, calling from Volta region.
Your who? Your name? Clement. Volta region.
Yeah.
Please go ahead, Clement.
Boss,
yes.
If you want to follow these politicians, you die. Why am I saying this? Yeah. I'm saying this because some nurses are still in the house since 2020. They're in the house 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024 batches are still in the house. Why? Why? You people are saying that, oh, we need more nurses to work, we need this health workers to work, but nurses are still in the house. When you go to the hospital, they were complaining that, oh, we are not up to the number, we are not up to the number. If they are not up to the number, why can't we employ the nurses at the house? Why can't we employ them? So we need these politicians. I don't want to follow them at all. I don't want to hear their distinct. Because if they want power, then they will come and do lobbying for people to vote for me so that when it comes to power, we do this for people, we will post you, do this a lot.
Clement, what do you think should be some of the solutions?
So you see, they have to create more this thing for the nurses, so that
they have to create what? Clement.
I said the solution is that
yes,
every government should pay attention.
Am I losing Clement? Oh, I've lost Clement. Sorry about that. So,
hello.
Yes. Is that Clement or a new person?
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Politics and Beyond. Your name?
Thank you, sir.
Your name?
Speaking from Takrady.
Takrady, your name, please.
I was speaking from Takrady. My name is Chief.
Your name is?
Chief.
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 Okay. Please go ahead.
Chief, my name is Chief.
Chief, reduce the volume on your TV set, please. Okay, looks like we've lost Chief. Anyway, so Clement was concentrating on the nurses, and that is also one thing we'll be looking at in the very near future. We need to look at the nurses and, have a conversation around that. Anyway, so whilst we wait for one or two more calls, let me quickly go through some of the messages that has come. It says, Mr. Wilson, I love your program very much because it's neutral and you are honest with your facts. Thank you. To tackle youth unemployment, I think the government can pair with the Fire Service of Ghana to have a national plantation such as cocoa, cashew, cotton, rosewood plantation, etc., with an allowance of 1,000, and this will solve half of the unemployment issue, and there will be enough to eat and export. And Mr. Labi, Mr. M-I-S-T-A, Labi Kumasi, Mr. I agree absolutely with you here. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
Please, due to one or two things, I won't mention my name.
Okay, please. That's fine. Where are you calling from?
Upper East.
Upper East. Okay, go ahead.
The recruitment they are doing,
yes.
Yeah, I can tell you people that the people, they are taking them already.
Well, you can't make that emphatically, but if you have any evidence to that effect, you can share them with my producer, and then we can take that from there. Is that okay?
We are not receiving our rent allowance and they themselves, they are forcing themselves to enter.
They are not doing what?
Don't pay rent. We are not taking our rent.
They are not taking our rent.
We have not received our rent.
You have not received your rent?
Yeah.
Are you a personnel?
Yes.
Oh, you are a personnel. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can put it in context. But the very first part, you saying that they have already done the recruitment. So we get any evidence to that effect. Let's put it on hold. Now let's go on. You are saying that you've not received your rent?
Yes. Government is owing us rent.
When were you recruited?
It's only this year they are owing us.
They are owing you this year. From when? From January till now, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We are suffering. With the security person, that's why a lot of them are traveling outside the country.
I agree. Are you with the police, immigration, the soldier? I mean the army? Which one?
I'll be personnel. As immigration officers, a lot of immigration officers are crying.
Say it again. Immigration. Very well.
They are crying about rent.
I get you. We can have a conversation after the show. So just after the show, the WhatsApp line that is exhibited, just say, I want to talk to the host. And then you'll be directed to have a conversation with me on phone. Is that okay? All right. So that's quite an interesting one. Let me go back to the text messages. So Mr. Labi, I agree with you, Labi, absolutely, from Kumasi. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. This issue you are discussing is disheartening. Can you believe we graduates from all colleges of education, 2023 batch, are still sitting at home? We finished our national service in February this year and should have been posted if it was the previous government. But what do we see? The government is always Wiki to colleges of education. Let the government know. We, the graduates from colleges of education, are going on demonstration on the 19th of this month. We are going to move from all the regions and meet in Accra. And this is Maswell, a graduate from Tamale College of Education. This one says, I believe skills acquisition should be encouraged. Yes, I agree. Regardless of formal education, there's a high demand for skilled workers like electricians, plumbers, and carpenters. Yet our youth are struggling to find jobs. The stigma attached to skill training needs to change. If the government promotes and supports skill development, it could significantly reduce unemployment. And this is Pius Blay. Pius, I agree perfectly with you. Pius from Kaswa, I agree perfectly with you. This one says, I noticed the government from Kufuor to date are not helping the youth and others to delve into self-employment. I want the government to give 6-month maximum for newly traders to study their business to ascertain if it will work or not. But the very day the GRA sees you establish a venture or a trade, they run to you to tax you. And they forget that you might fall out anytime from business. This is really something that I have talked about so many times. I don't understand why in this country you want to start a business and less than 1 month of you trying to put an office together, the next phase you see will be faces coming from JRA, and they are coming to discuss taxation with you, even when you've not started your work. How does this even encourage, employment? How does this encourage entrepreneurship? It is so frustrating. So that is also one of it. This one says, Mr. Wilson, good evening. The youth unemployment in Ghana is indeed very, very alarming. It is. Government, and by that I mean government that comes after government, and individuals, organizations who can create jobs for the youth to work, but are not doing so, should bow down their heads in shame. Sometimes you see some cars in this country, and the prices of some of these cars can create jobs for the youth to do. Look at the Land Cruisers that governments upon governments buy for MPs and so forth. In fact, Mr. Wilson, the kind of expensive cars as a developing country, you don't even see, as a developing country, you don't even see them that much in developed countries. Governments should stop buying expensive cars for MPs and other officers and spread their wings where am I? Have I lost something? Okay. And spread their wings. Politicians must also stop hunting their political opponents and collapsing businesses that they have established and have employed people to work. When they do that, they do not only disorganize their opponents, but those who are gainfully employed. And this is Aaron Sukura Bebe from Legon. Aaron, I agree perfectly with you on this. And that is why I personally, irrespective of what reasons were given or will be given, I will never forgive the Akufo-Addo-led government for collapsing certain businesses in this country, including Indom's business. You see, you are not just looking at the one involved, but you must also look at the number of people who have been employed or who are dependent on those jobs. So yes, I agree with you. This one says, Mr. Wilson, good evening. I am Baka from WA. Ghana education system focuses too much on book knowledge than practical knowledge. And that to me increases youth unemployment. Yeah, so as I indicated, what we need to do, one of the things we need to do is to find a way of bridging that gap. The educational system and the job field or the working field. There's a lot of, a very vast gap, and that needs to be looked at. Right, this one says that, Mr. Wilson, this tragedy is profoundly heartbreaking, and what makes it particularly painful is that it is preventable. I agree. Our youth are dying chasing opportunities that shall come safely with dignity. A nation fails when hope becomes a hazard. Jobs should lift our youth, not bury them. We can do better. And that is very, very true. I mean, this is really, really, very, very true. This one says, okay, that's fine. So we'll quickly go to some of the solutions. Unfortunately, I mean, I should have indicated earlier that we couldn't pick more calls due to time. And also because I wanted to ensure that the messages, many of them are read. But let's look at some of the solutions. Aside the fantastic solutions that looks like people have brought in. One thing that run through most of the solutions that you have brought has to do with our educational system. And so one of the solutions that I'm professing this evening is that our educational system needs a significant reform. We need to align education with labor market demands and emphasize vocational and technical training. It is very, very important that we do that. The other thing is that we need to have entrepreneurship support. We need to provide funding, accessibility to funding, mentorship, and business environment. There's one other thing that politicians have been talking about, or most of our leaders have been talking about over the past years. But when it comes to its implementation, it looks like there are so many, mountains that frustrates the process. And I'm making reference to public-private partnership. There's a need for collaboration. We need to collaborate to bridge the skills gap and foster innovation. The other one that we also need to look at as a solution is job creation initiatives. We need to implement programs that will have, institutions supporting. So we have the NEP, we have the USTAT, we have all those quasi institutions that are supposed to, support job creation initiatives. It looks like the impact is not being felt. Or even if the impact is being felt, the structures put in place is an ad hoc kind of structure. Political sloganeering system. And so maximum 2 years, maximum a term finishes, maximum 2 terms finishes, and that program vanishes. We are not able to build structures that will give us a lasting and a relevant, job creation avenues. We have what we call the limited access to capital for entrepreneurship. And so we've talked about that. We need entrepreneurship support. And then we must find a way of reducing, because when we are able to do this, we reduce the over-reliance on the public sector. And we cannot do anything in this country when it comes to youth unemployment without first looking at the private sector. Instead of collapsing the private sector, as we saw particularly in the last administration, shamefully in the last administration, that is the administration led by His Excellency Akufo-Addo, we need to rather create avenues that will strengthen the private sector. I was so happy during His Excellency Kufuor's time when he brought in a slogan and said that the private sector is the engine of growth. Unfortunately, it looks like it also ended up as a slogan, political sloganeering. We couldn't get anywhere with that. That's the unfortunate thing. And that is the kind of country we find ourselves in. I'll go through some few more messages before we call it a night. This one says, good evening, Mr. Wilson. This youth unemployment issue in Ghana is totally a big threat and must be addressed as soon as possible. I want to do my own business, that is delivery of eggs from door to door. But income to start this lucrative business is my nightmare. This one says, Mr. Wilson, I'm so sad. Government should know that if they can't employ them, then if they can't employ them, they help some youth. Okay, it's not so clear. They should focus on the unemployed youth before it becomes a big problem for all of us. Okay, you didn't add your name, but I hope I got the import of it. This one says, Mr. Wilson, The civilians, they civilians, and should firstly be treated as such. Okay. Okay, so you are talking about what should have been done during the military screening. The first one, you said that they should be seen as civilians and they should have been treated as such. Secondly, they should have been provided with water. Thirdly, there should have been an emergency service such as ambulance and fire service on standby. Fourthly, they should have provided, and when you make reference to they, you are making reference to the military or the Ghana Armed Forces. They should have provided 3 months older doctor reports on fit for the service. Yeah, so those who applied probably should have done that. Yeah. And then there should have been open recruitment every day. And this is coming from Santiago, from Somanya. Santiago, I think this is quite an interesting one, especially the fifth one, whether or not there's a need to have an open recruitment taking place every day. Well, I don't know about that, but it's really an interesting proposal. Hello, Mr. Wilson. I'm Magnus Wilson, okay, from Nungua, and I have registered NAP. I don't know what NAP is. Past last 7 months, and I've heard nothing about it. Okay, so this one says, Mr. Wilson, the screening held in Dambai in Oti was very easy. The numbers were massive, but the officers did a good job to reduce the stress. Okay, so at least that's a good one. Thank you so much. There's something that we can learn from. This is coming from Prophet Jones from Efiakuma. I missed my service because of this program. Nice program. Thank you so much, Prophet. I am so happy to hear this. Thank you so much, Prof. This one says, I also support the man who said before someone will be endorsed, he should have a company before endorsement. Okay, you are making reference to the caller who said that before you are endorsed, one of the requirements to be a member of parliament, to be a president, is that you should show to us that indeed you have a company or you have been able to employ, 1 or 2 people. Okay, that's also an interesting proposal. Mr. Wilson, government must also make sure to look into ages of civil servants, and government must stop giving contract to retired folks, but rather give the youth new chances. There are a lot of old age folks in the system, very much. Yeah, we've talked about this issue of contracts, when we have a lot of youth who do not have the opportunity to be employed. Mr. Wilson, solution. Let us send students to companies to learn for about 2 years. Stipends should be paid to the students, and also automatic employment after successful completion of a course. All right. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. My name is Williams, and I'm sending you this message from Kwewu Tafo. Why is the government always securing a lot of interventions to enhance agric, but ignore the agric college graduates? In fact, as we speak now, graduates from since 2018 are still home without government postings. Very, very disheartening. All right. Our educational system must be restructured to suit development, especially technical education right from the basic schools. In addition, entrepreneurship and capitalization of the youth must be enhanced. The long-term development plan must be adopted and implemented. And this is Francis from Edujama. I'll take 1 or 2 more because our time is fast spent. As a young farmer, what I can say is that we have to change the image of agric. The media has a lot to do in this regard. Also, giving opportunities to we the young farmers to your station to showcase what we do and also call for support will help and bring more youth. I have a lot we can discuss, and this is Isaka Mohammed. Okay, Isaka, I'll be happy to discuss further with you. So just get in touch using the same WhatsApp platform, and then you'll be directed to me. Then we can have a conversation. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. I am NSS personnel for 2024-2025, and still I have not been paid for 6 months. Why are our leaders doing this? I cannot even get money to eat. I have no parents, and I do struggle to send myself to school. And now this is what my own country can offer me. That's so sad. Good evening, my brother. You are doing a great job. God bless you. Thank you. God bless you too. Good evening, Mr. Host. I am Rashid from Takrady. I suggest the government must ensure that employees in the private sector are paid well, because the private CEOs are making millions of cedis. Okay, you didn't add your name. Good evening, Mr. Wilson and Politics and Beyond. I am Ramseya Pepra from Ibuakwa, Agogo. The main problem of unemployment is our economic structure, which focuses more on huge public rollout instead of investing in productive sectors of the economy with high multiplier effects. That's manufacturing, agro-processing, agric, and digitalization, not just consumers of digitalization, but a contributor and service provider. Every day, people assess employment creation of government by the amount of compensation for public workers like nurses, teachers, among others. What about the engineers, agri graduates, the one who studied management, the technician, contractor, real estate developers, among others? If we do not invest in productive sectors like infrastructure, agriculture, manufacturing, and mainly focus on consumption-based economy for social and political purposes, this is what happens. The economy can't grow to generate jobs and tax for running a country. Okay, so in summary, you didn't add your name, but you added your name, Ramseya Pepra. You had a very long one. But in summary, all you are saying is that our economy is the economy that engages in consumption other than production. Yes, and that is what, happens when you have an economy that is into consumption only, largely consumption. You end up having a lot of unemployed youth. Mr. Wilson, good evening. Data and collaboration is key in tackling youth unemployment. I'm very sure there's no accurate data of unemployment youth now. There should also be strong public-private partnership. We should pay more attention to technical and vocational training. If not, this problem will continue to persist. And this is Fusaini Mohammed from Sechi Adabu Chrome. Fusaini, thanks, and I'm happy to read your message. I have a lot. I will just read one more, and I'm going to promise all of you who are still sending in messages that next week, when we come back, we'll read your messages, because next week's conversation is going to be, an update of today's conversation. It's going to be a continuation of it. So I'll just read the very last one. This one says, Mr. Wilson, please, our main problem in this country is how private sectors, I mean businessmen, how they pay their workers. It is very low, so we should help solve that problem first. Then people can also know that they can depend on such opportunities. That is very, very true, and that is okay. There are so many messages coming through, but as I indicated, next week, God willing, we'll be delving into the budget that has been read. My conscience will not serve me right to discuss budget when we have not mourned these individuals, our young folks who lost their lives. My conscience and this platform will not go to sleep discussing budgets when we've not discussed a very important issue, making reference to youth unemployment, which is clearly a ticking bomb that we are all sitting on, creating economic crisis, creating social crisis, and what is so alarming, creating national security threats. And so after discussing this, next week, we'll go into the budget that has been read, and we'll see whether or not this budget discusses, among other things, national issues such as youth unemployment. I want to thank each and every one of you for making this program a success this evening. I still want to use, on your behalf, on behalf of my team here, on behalf of Politics and Beyond, express our gross, if I can use that word, gross condolence to the families of our younger ones, our sisters, our children, our daughters who lost their lives last week, Wednesday. We want to express our condolence and to say a very big shame to the Ghana Armed Forces for failing us, for letting us lose these innocent souls. We are so disappointed in you. Till we meet again next week, same time, on your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. Those of us who are on the Politics and Beyond discussing platform, this conversation continues. But next week, I'm going to start this program by reading the messages, the many messages that have come through, which we couldn't read. And so you can still continue having the conversation with us. Till we meet again next week, my name is still Emmanuel Wilson Jr. And all I can say for now is good night.